Everyone, John Anderson Pierre, the Beer Ramble, back and better than ever, looking at on a hot day, looking at Yuengling summer wheat, introduced 2 years ago, 2014, a Hefeweizen style. Gets a 4.6 ABV is the amount of booze that's in this thing. Here's my little glass, another glass I have. Gets an 84 score, both by Beer Advocate and the Bros, which means they like it. Yuengling, of course, America's oldest brewery, and pretty much moderately priced beer, in my personal opinion. Um, we've gotten this beer. We got Yuengling here in Alabama back in 2008, if I'm correct. I remember seeing it at the store. I said, "Hey, wonderful! We got Yuengling finally." So there wasn't really much to be desired in terms of beer in the state, but at the time. But anyhow, back to this beer here. I'll get to the Yuengling story in a little bit. Take a whiff of the beer. Forgive me, I got all these. We had a little get together here the other day. It's a little bit of I'd say a mess, but oh well. Hefeweizen style. Smell a lot of orange peel to this beer. Smell a lot of coriander, a lot of spices. Like some spices use some of their Oktoberfest, but it has some of that. Not much, but just a little bit of it in there. Summer wheat ales again, perfect for this time of year. Traditional Wiesen beer. So it has this kind of scent to it. I'm not gonna say something like Blue Moon. No, I don't want to say. I'm sure people who like don't want to be compared to Blue Moon. That's not craft beer, but it has that scent to it. A little orangey, citrus, a little bit, and it's not an IPA, but it has that scent to it. But to me, I think nice color, really nice, shaped well, very perfectly made beer. So on to the sip. I don't really buy much, Wiesen or Hefeweizen, Hefeweizen. Forgive me for the pronunciation, folks, again. But this is good. I had this on ice. I have another bottle here, and it was kind of hot today, very hot, humid day, which is I guess perfect for what this beer is for this time of year. It says summer wheat. Hmm. And the sky's about to open up a little bit here. See, I did a review with Eric Thomas Metal 75 Eric on of another beer we had. It was a Y Stoffinator. Again, forgive me for the pronunciation, folks. But we did a Hefeweizen beer review of that, and I liked it. I you know I liked it. I thought it was good. Um, but the price I paid for it, I'm sure if a 6 pack of it was sold, it would be a lot more. Which I only saw it in that bomber 16-ounce bottle. I believe I bought it for 18-ounce bottle. I bought it for at Rouse's when we did that review. Um, this for a 6 pack was 7.64, and I thought that was pretty good price for that beer. So, I really don't know what's it for, but I always kind of enjoyed the beer. Forgive me. Try to keep the video going, but I have my significant other being a pest. I love you, honey. But anyway, when this was $7.64 for a 6 pack of this beer, and thought was pretty good. Thought, you know, I meant that this, but also I'm getting. Sorry about I'm blabbing about again. This is a beer ramble. I also getting a little finish of some bananas in this. It has the orange, but also has a little banana, little kind of aftertaste to it. I just got a hint of this beer. Not again, not overly powerful with figs or bananas or call them nanas, but it's a little hint of that. But my second bottle here, folks. Yeah, it's been a long day. I'm freaking tired, so forgive me if I'm. But one is not enough. Two it is. I'm sure I'll get comments saying, Jane, how the fuck are you pouring this beer, Mr. Pierre? So, uh, and this is very pleasant. Again, for this time of year right now, again, we're deep in the. It's not officially summer yet, but it's if you live in the southeast like I do, live in the Gulf Coast region, summer has arrived. In fact, it arrived maybe last month, 2-3 weeks ago. Before Memorial Day weekend. So it's been freaking hot. Yeah, 2-3 weeks ago. It feels like it. Humidity. I'm sure my good friend Ronald J. Terrier could attest to that if he's watching this review. So, and many others, Brandon Burrell, and Jeff Brister, and many others who live in the Gulf Coast region. It's not spring; it's hot. So, this beer is perfect for this time of year right now. As I mentioned, the story of Yuengling is, the oldest brewery, been around since 1829. Family-run company. If you didn't know that, but they have this sort of corporate mindset, but they are family-run, which is kind of good. And I like family-run businesses. Some are good, some can be a bit of a tyrant, but most of them are good. And this beer company, of course, have put out some some exceptional beers. Right now, they're in 18 states, including the District of Columbia. Their newest state, just recently, within the last year and a half, is now Mississippi. Hopefully, they will infiltrate Louisiana and maybe those. Well, take that back. Hopefully, they'll go west of the Mississippi. Of course, Louisiana is west of the Mississippi River, and then others will get the beer. But right now, they're in 18 states, including the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, in the hood. Yes, the White House is in the hood. But they put out some exceptional beers. And a lot of people have complained. The owner, Dick Yuengling, that he sort of kind of went back on some of the things he does, that now he's anti-union. People who I know, who I've talked to, who live in that region, they're in my neck of the woods. I live in New Jersey, but I'm originally, I frequent the Poconos quite a bit. To me, it's paradise. Love the Poconos. People who live in Pennsylvania, others who live in New York State, have always had a sort of a negative view, more so the state of Pennsylvania, about Dick Yuengling for whatever the reason, because of his beliefs of having the state going completely, make it a right to work state, that he's pro right to work, that he's against unions, he's anti-union all the way, and I mean, whatever, that's your prerogative, that's how you feel, but he's and I think the other complaint people have had is just the distribution, that people want People who travel, say, from California, travel from Oregon, places, Texas, Nebraska, who've heard so much about Yingling, and who've watched videos like mine, or those out there who've seen those individuals, male or female, who do reviews and reviewed all the Yingling beers to say, hey, this must be good, or those who are traveling out of state who visit any part of, say, that region, the regions where Yingling is sold, whether it be Ohio or New Jersey, PA, New York, Delaware, whatever, and they visit these cities, Maryland, visit these cities, and say, hey, this Yingling beer, hey, this is Virginia, hey, this is a damn good beer, man. I'm damn shame I can't get this in my state, all in due time, where Sam Adams, which is both Yingling as well as Sam Adams, Jim Cook, and Boston Beer Company have loved to tout that, yeah, we are pro-American. We are American-owned. We are not owned by any of the big boys or the foreign corporate bigwigs. We are American-owned. We are proud of it. We're not for sale. We're not going to be bought. We're USA patriotism. And again, all well and good. I'm not knocking that whatsoever, but Sam's has a better distribution than Yuengling. Yuengling Sam's, I believe, reach out to west of the Mississippi. I'm sure they're in Texas. I'm sure they're in New Mexico. I'm sure they're in places like Kansas or Missouri, Cal. Washington State. I'm sure their beers are out there. Boston Beer Company, but it is what it is. Distribution is key, but for to getting your name and your product out there, people want to sample your stuff. I mean, look how long it took for us to get Coors east of the Mississippi River. I think it was like 1991, 92, if I'm correct. So, but and everything is time, patience, and that's how it is. And I think for the Yuengling family, it's something they'll do at some point. They got, of course, the main brewery in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, and then they have the brewery which handles most of the beers in the southeast, Florida, here in Alabama, uh, North Carolina, um, Georgia, um, Mississippi. Their brewery is they bought out the old Stroh's brewery. I'm sure in I think 2005 or 2006. Again, don't quote me on that, but that brewery is based in Tampa, and they handle most of the distribution and the beers down here in this area. And the beers we mostly get here in my state are, of course, which is considered a seasonal, as well as the Oktoberfest, which is around October, of course, around the fall season, around the beginning of September, going all the way to Christmas. And also around, of course, there are other beers or signature beers, the Yingling traditional lager, the traditional light lager, light or light beer, the Black and Tan, and now the Indian Pale Ale, which came out in 2015. So, anyway, I'm gonna give this beer a solid B. I think it's right up there for me. I think it's an 8.5 for me. I think it's very excellent, very enjoyable, very pleasant for this time of year, and it's hot. And food pairings, maybe a nice Caesar salad, or maybe put some grilled chicken on there on the grill. Pair with this. Um, I mean, something light, nothing heavy on this. I'm being swarmed by flies. The fly. I don't know. Anyway, 8.5 score for me for this beer. Tell me your comments of this. Leave your statements on the bottom. 8.5 for the summer wheat. John and Pierre of the Beer Ramble. Turning to keep watching, and as always, cheers.